to another episode of What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Thank you so much for joining us today. As you might know, but if you're new, I am your host, Karen E. Osborne. I'm the author of I love saying that, four novels, Getting It Right, Tangled Lies, Reckonings, and my newest historical fiction, True Grace. And my guest today is so fascinating, and you're going to be fascinated. Want you, I want you to meet Dale Ward. Hey, Dale.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh,
Appreciate
I'm
it.
delighted to have you today. So listen to this. Dale is an Emmy Award-winning video producer and a debut novelist. And his novel, his first novel is Killing the Butterfly, which is a psychological thriller this is the description that grips readers from the opening pages of this gritty story about a young woman trapped in the web of abuse. Doesn't that sound intriguing? But before we dive into the book, Dale, I would love to hear about your Emmy Award winning video producer life. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, currently I'm creating videos at Concordia Seminary in St. Louis to do a lot of lectures, classroom stuff. I do get to create some short stories, and we actually did a biographical picture on the founder, which was kind of like the Pilgrims and the Mayflower. He brought a bunch of people from Germany over here in 1830, the 1830s. So that was a lot of fun. Period piece, challenging, but a lot of fun. Also do some documentaries. The before that, I worked for a national talk show called On Main Street, and that was where we would discuss. Each week would be a different topic, and then we would try and give a good, productive angles on how to deal with the particular topic. Was the three that won the Emmys? One was on depression, one was on addiction, and one was on I don't know if you remember the old Dead Man Walking movie and book,
Mhm.
but the lady that was kidnapped in that movie was on our show, and she talked about well, that struggle and surviving that, and then kind of dealing with getting past it and forgiving the person. So that was
Mm.
kind of, yeah, leans into the book because there's a lot of issues in there that cross over.
Yeah, we do pull from our past. We pull from other places as well, and so I want to hear about that. So tell us what inspired you to write a thriller.
Yeah, so it's been years in the making. I actually wrote a short story years ago. I had to do with a man and his wife to go on a weekend trip, and he had not so great intentions on how that would play out. But in the process of the story, a young couple who is actually criminals on the run, they collide with his weekend plans. And as I started thinking about working on, a novel, I kept going back to that story, and I kept going back specifically to the young lady in the story and what her background might have looked like. So I started kind of rounding that out, and she took over the story basically, and
They
that's where,
do that.
yeah, she took over the story. There's still the core of the other couple in there. They all kind of collide at the end, but this is Patty's story, really.
Wow, it's always uh, so powerful when our characters just have minds of their own. And while we're
Yeah,
writing,
that's
they take us to places that we hadn't intended. So give us the basic premise then of the book. Oh, first of all, let's see the beautiful cover. It's
all
a
right
really
here.
yeah, that's a pow cover. Look at that.
So
And it won. What did it win? What's the seal on it?
that's a Pencraft Award, Literary Excellence. So
Yes,
yeah.
very nice. Very nice. All right, so tell us a little bit about Patty's story and how this premise of the book.
Yeah, so she's coming from a background of abuse. Um, with her mom and dad are split up, but they're both abusive in their own ways. She goes back and forth between those. Of course, as she gets into with a boyfriend, it just carries on. And a lot of that I was pulling, from the TV show I worked on. Is there's more than that going on around us that we're not even aware of. And I kind of
Fortunately.
wanted to show that the person you meet today could have there's could be a dark side that we don't even know about, so kind of to be a little bit compassionate about that. But she ends up her boyfriend ends up, I mean, basically kidnapping her and taking her on a crime spree against her will. But
Mm.
uh, she does collide with this other couple, and yeah, she's trying to escape from this web of abuse in her life.
Yeah, yeah, wow. What do you love about Patty? What do you really like about her?
I just as far as meeting people similar to her, and actually, since the book's been published, I've had people come up to me and say, "How did you know my story?" Which was
Mm,
I was like, I'm
mm,
sorry. But she is filled with hope. She doesn't give up.
mm,
She's a poet. She lets loose with some of her emotions through her poetry. And
mm,
yeah, so that's kind of where the title comes from. In her poetry, she likes to see herself as the butterfly. So the butterfly shows up a lot, and of course, she's wanting to break free from her cocoon of her abuse, but it seems like everybody in her life is holding her down, pulling her back,
mm.
really killing the butterfly. And so really want to, she wants to break free and free the butterfly.
Oh, I love that. So that's the killing the butterfly. People are trying to kill the butterfly. Wow. And I hope she does get free. I hope. Okay, you don't have to tell me. I have to read the book.
I have to read the book.
So since you are, a film producer and video producer, do you see this turning? It sounds like it would make a really good movie. Do you see this becoming a movie?
Oh, absolutely. It would, I like to see it get in front of somebody that could put it together and have the funds for it. I'm actually working on a script of it, to maybe to shop that around as well. But yeah, I would be, and I see people, on TV or at the movies, and I go, oh, that'd be a good Patty or something. And but yeah, I always say too, if I ever win the lottery, we're making this movie. But I haven't
Get
won the
this.
lottery yet, so.
Did your previous work, give you any contacts that might help you or give you an in or anything?
Somewhat. It's a struggle. I mean, for everybody, you hear about it. I figure if I have the script done, I could maybe get it into some competitions and maybe get some eyeballs on it. I have reached out to certain people, but yeah, I haven't heard anything back yet. As a matter of fact, when I had the short story, I actually shot a short film based on the short story. This was years ago. But that was part of that was fun too. It's been a while. It needs to be redone, but that might be a way to shop it around as well.
Actually, that's a really cool idea,
Yeah.
to so that someone they don't have to read the whole script. They could be enchanted by the video and then say, okay, I want to know. I think that's what do I know? But it
Yeah.
sounds like a cool idea to me. It sounds really good. So now you've got a taste of writing a long piece, because it really is different, isn't it? Writing short stories versus writing a novel.
It is.
Um, yeah, my son is a gifted short story writer, and he's struggling with his first novel. And I struggle with my short stories. It's just, I don't know, it's just different. It's a
Okay.
different animal.
It
It's a
is.
different
Yeah.
animal.
Yeah.
But are you, now that you have the novel bug, are you working on anything else?
Yeah, other than the screenplay, I do have an idea for a second book. It revolves around a seminary professor, actually. They say to write what you know, so I live with a lot of those guys. And this particular guy, he's made up. I make stuff up, but his expertise is supernatural things. And so I'm thinking of a series where each book would be a different supernatural event that he uh, investigates. The first one has to do with these crazy murders that are going on in a local park, joggers and bicyclists, and what might be doing these killings. So that's I have it roughed out. I have a draft, but I need to go back and really tweak on it. And, and that's tell your son that it's getting to me. It's like just spit it out and get to the last page, even if it's only page 60. At least you have all your ideas there.
Yeah,
I have done the national write a novel a month.
he has
Yeah.
to.
And that does, yeah, it's getting to the end, I think is the hardest part because at least for me, some people say rewriting is tough, but I can always go back and flesh it out a little bit.
I love rewriting, fortunately, because
Yeah,
that's a big part of our job. So
absolutely.
it's a good thing to love rewriting. But I did do NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month with my son. He's a gifted short story writer and he has all these short
Yeah.
stories published. But and my grandson. And he finished, and my grandson finished, and my grandson was very disappointed in me. He would call me up and say, Mammy, do the math. You'll never catch up. I was not good. I was not good at, but it does get you started, right? It gives
Yeah.
you kind of a discipline. So our show is what are you reading? What are you writing? So do you have, as you think about your filmmaking career, as you think about your writing career, or just your personal life, are there any authors or books that had like a really big
Mm.
impact on you?
I really soaked up everything Elmore Leonard. He's
Mm,
been gone now for, I don't know, it might even be 10 years. But he wrote thrillers, crime, everyday kind of people. That's kind of what I like and emulate. And a lot of his books were made into movies. So you can go,
yes.
I mean, there's Get Shorty, which was a TV show and a movie, and Out of Time, I think, with George
Mhm.
Clooney. Mr. Majestic goes back a ways with Charles Bronson. But we just watched, my wife and I just finished watching Justified, which is a series on FX. So yeah,
Yeah, that's a
he's
good
one.
series.
Yeah, he's one guy that's really influenced me. More recently, I've been reading a lot of Robert Dugoni,
Mm.
Carl Hyacin. He's got the same kind of flavor. I still read the latest Grisham that comes out.
Do
Again,
you
he's not.
like Connolly?
I haven't delved in. I mean, he has. What happens with me? I'm kind of OCD. When I get somebody I like, I have to read everything, and he's got a lot of books, so I got to kind
A
of.
lot of books.
So
He's excellent. He's a master the way that uh um the first author you said, Get Shorty.
yeah, Elmore Leonard.
Yes,
Yeah.
Emola, thank you. Yeah, he's really a master craftsman at the thriller, as at the mystery,
Okay.
and one that develops characters really well, because some of the thrillers, the plot's everything and the
Mhm.
characters aren't. So anyway, when you get a chance, you
Well,
should read him.
what would you recommend if I was going to go grab one?
I would
What would
start
you
at the
recommend?
beginning of the Bosch series, is his
Okay.
Harry Bosch
Yeah,
series,
yeah.
but the Lincoln Lawyer is really good too. You might start there because that's a book that became a movie.
I have seen the movie. Okay. So,
Yeah, so that might be a good one.
okay.
His Lincoln Lawyer, and then the two of them are related. So some of his later books, they're characters in each other's stories because they're
Okay.
half brothers.
All right. Well, good.
Anyway,
because the authors I've mentioned, I think I have read all of their stuff, so I need somebody new.
There
So
you go. He's very good. So, what have you read recently that you could recommend to our audience?
okay, you know what I did, and I think it's where I first met you was at so my publisher is Black Rose Writing,
As
and
mine is.
last year they had a author get together where we all came to Texas, and so what I did, I started reading a lot of those people because I'd meet them and I'd want to have something to talk about. So I've been reading a lot. Look at this one. So so I've been reading quite a bit of that and then kind of salting that with some other things, you know. So I've read I just finished one called Red Screen by Daniel Burke. And
Mm,
interesting book. Now it's about the metaverse. There's people that are gamers that it's a, you know, they go in and play these games with knights and dwarfs and there's killing going on there, but it also reflects what's going on in the real, he calls it the real world. There's
mm.
also killings on going there, so you go back and forth between these two worlds as they try and nab both killers. I don't know, the
Well,
quotes are
that's interesting.
yeah, so
Yeah,
that was a real good read. So Red
yeah.
Screen. I've also read some of the Cam Torrens. There's some good stuff from
He's good. Cam
yeah,
is so good. Yeah.
and Clucked by Troy Holland was fun. Have you read that
Yes.
one? So yeah, I've been getting into that a little, and then still I read, you know, Nelson DeMille and Robert Degani and Michael Connolly. I think I'll have to try on.
A
So
new one to try.
that's
Yes,
right.
yes. And then since you like mysteries and stuff, actually, Tangled Lies is my murder mystery.
Okay.
Just in case you prefer a murder mystery to a family saga. But you already bought Reckoning, so you should read it.
All right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
They just do there. Oh, well, so this has been so fun. I really enjoyed meeting you, and I know everybody here has enjoyed it. How can our audience where can they find you? How can they be in touch with you?
Well, of course, go to Amazon and search Killing the Butterfly. That's the easiest place. But otherwise, as far as the social media, um, Facebook, although, so like it's Facebook/D Ward Media, one word, Dale Ward, D Ward Media, and you can connect with me there. In fact, if you, in fact, go to YouTube, D Ward Media, you can see some of my short films there. So that might be
Hmm.
otherwise, my blog is daleward1.wordpress.com, which I lately been doing a lot of the book reviews and the things I've been reading, but I also do film reviews, how to make movies on a shoestring budget. There's a lot of that there
I
because
like that. Say that again. Say what how I can find that again.
that's Dale Ward one, the letter one, .wordpress.com. Yeah, go there and click on subscribe and
Yeah, that sounds
right.
really cool. That sounds like things I would enjoy watching. So I hope you guys will follow Dale. You'll go and read, go to his blog, you'll go to his YouTube channel, you will buy his book. And you know, I have to tell you, it is so important when you love a book to write a review. And
Yes.
Dale would be so grateful uh, that you would take time to write a review. And I know some people just find it challenging, but it could just be 2 sentences.
Right.
I loved it. Thank you, Dale. That's all he
Absolutely.
needs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where my
And
blog
we
comes from. It's from reviews, and I put them on Amazon. I put them on Goodreads, BookBubs, but post them on my blog. So, yeah, thank you for your time today.
yes, and thank you for your time, and we thank all of you for your time, and I hope to see you next week on What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Bye, everybody.